One of the hands down best towers in Bloons TD6, the tier 5 Megalodon, just got absolutely destroyed, and to get a sense of how big this nerf was, let's actually try it versus something that is going to be a real test to it. Like for example, Elite Bloonarias. So what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and beat Elite Bloonarias by mainly doing the damage with the Megalodon, and before we start I just want to go through how big these changes are. This is actually like a huge nerf happening to the Megalodon. So let me tell you guys what the nerfs are. First things first, let's start with the good things. The range of the beast handler got increased from 50 to 60, so that's kind of nice, but basically everything else is a nerf. So starting from the latch duration, which is basically the time that the Megalodon and all the other top bat fish stay latched on top of a balloon. This thing got reduced from 5 seconds to 3 seconds, so a little bit less damage overall. And then the attack cooldown, this is probably the biggest nerf, got reduced by a lot actually. I mean, look at the numbers, 0.8 to 1.1 seconds, and actually the guys from the Bloon wiki were kind enough to calculate all these changes and how it works with the increased scaling of the attack cooldown, and it turns out that overall this is a nerf, and it's actually quite a big nerf. So for example, if you take a look at the attack time for an 84 out of 132 beast power Megalodon, it goes from about 0.63 seconds to now being 0.91. That is about a 50% increase on the attack cooldown. That is nuts. These changes got the Megalodon bumped from S- tier down to A-, and I know that it doesn't sound like a lot because I still feel like the Megalodon is going to be a decent tower. It's just the question is how much of an impact do all of these changes are going to have. So I thought let's try and see if this guy can beat Elite Bloonarias by himself. Well, when I say by himself, I mean we're going to try and give it every single buff possible. So we're going to go for a True Sun God, and we're going to Ultra Boost him, you know, basically everything that works. I even brought Azili as the hero because she has the Sacrificial Totem and it's an aura because you cannot buff beast handlers with alchemists. And I'm pretty sure that the aura works as well. So we're going to try and give it everything and see if we can take down Elite Bloonarias, or how close is it actually going to be. Alright, so let me slowly ease into the farming. So I'm going to go for the rubber to gold on this thing. We're probably going to stop at like 4 marketplaces plus 1 favorite trades boat, and we're going to be looking to defeat this tier 1 boss by basically using the top bat shark. I was thinking maybe the orca plus an overclock. Is that a little bit too ambitious? I don't think so actually. So I'm going to get the favorite trades boat now, and I think it's time that we start thinking about this. So let's can I have this guy in the range of the village? Maybe get a little bit of discounts while we're at it, while we have the village here on the side. Cool, like this. And then I guess we're not gonna be selling anything. This is a pretty long map, even though we don't have the money for basically anything at this point. I think we can afford to chill for a second. So in comes the tier 1 Elite Bloonarias. Let's go like this, buy the shark. So let's buy the orca first, see how much of a damage improvement we're gonna get versus the boss. And you can kind of see that, look at this thing, it's not staying latched as long as previously. This is like the first nerf, and you can definitely notice that this is obviously not enough damage. This is just straight up not going to be enough for the tier 1, so we need to buy something else. Okay, so let's go for the overclock, and let's see if I can place Azili's totem like right over here, and then is it going to get the beast handler in range? So I'm going to use it. This is the tier 1 spawning, and yes we do get the beast handler in range because the range on the totem is huge. So let's actually switch the beast handler to first, so we're actually targeting these ceramics. We do get like, I think it's 17% extra attack speed from the Azili Sacrificial Totem, which is basically identical to a Jungledron's, which I have not bought. Let me actually buy this thing. Are we leaking Bloons though? Oh my god, that's a huge... Oh no. I actually paused at 0 lives, and this means that we are actually going to lose. So yeah, let's restart this previous round. Okay then, so let's help ourselves just a tiny bit by buying something like this, maybe the glue hose. We're gonna need some damage amplification tower, so might as well get it right now. This is gonna be nice for the ceramic wave, but for the tier 2, like, unless we buy the Megalodon, guys, I'm not sure where we're going with this. Let's go like this, and now let's watch the damage that this thing does. Oh, this is really not helping a lot, guys. Oh my god, let's go back on first. The glue is slowing down all these balloons. Do we actually have it like this? I mean, I know it's a long map, but it's like round 49. We might actually lose to the rounds. Okay, so here's one thing I really want to buy. I wanted to buy the Minneapolis, so let me just sell all of these farms on the side. Maybe should have done this a little bit earlier, but it's completely fine. Let's buy the Minneapolis on the side. Let's overclock and then start rebuying some of these farms that we previously had. I'm gonna buy them as marketplaces again to try and get as much discount as possible from these other villages that I bought. And yeah, that should be fine. So got 4 marketplaces. We got the jungle drums. How is everything looking, guys? The sacrificial totem is on cooldown halfway there, but it's round 49. Okay, so let's move the beast handler up now. Super slow. Let's use the glue strike, which we just purchased, and the orca can Oh my god, he can actually not see the boss. I mean, I know it's like a 16 out of 64 orca, so we can buff it if we wanted to, but the farming is like so behind. One last call, guys. This is super slow. It's round 55, and we need to buy the Megalodon for the next one. So the last wave incoming, I'm going to use the glue strike on this one. One more sacrificial totem, which should be fine. Gets the beast handler in range. Let's buy this central market as well. Oh my god, this is so close that we're barely going to be able to do it. It's going to be round 57, so 2 rounds left to go, but there we go. We popped the tier 1 finally. Alright, so this is the plan. We're going to need the Megalodon for this one. That is absolutely non-negotiable, so might as well buy all these guys. So this is orca number 3. We're going to need one more orca, and then we need to save up money for the Megalodon. But I do feel like this base Megalodon is going to be able to deal with the boss, right? Alright, slowly getting there. So 45k for the Megalodon. I think we can actually sell these marketplaces on the side, get the money. Bam, there it is. Alright, finally we buy it for the tier 2. Okay, so let's see how good the new Megalodon is. So this is going to be the nerfed one. So this is basically the one that has no extra beast power added to it. Now let's actually use the glue strike ability. He doesn't seem to mind, guys. I mean, take a look at the HP that he's taking off. It's like almost 1 HP bar that he's taking off, but we're leaking a lot of lives. So we need to actually switch him to first, it seems like. I'm going to give him the sacrificial totem. We need to be very careful with the glue ability, which is super useful now. It is, let's overclock, by the way. It's slowing all these small summons, and it's helping us by a lot because the Megalodon just like doesn't have as much attack speed as before. And it seems like once you buy the Megalodon, yeah, at least for these earlier tiers, like this is definitely not a problem. You can notice that when he latches onto like a balloon, the damage, or I should say the HP that he takes off the boss is noticeably, you know, less. Let me actually switch him to strong so you can see. So he's gonna latch onto the boss. He's gonna do like, I guess like 5-6 flaps, and then he's just gonna stop straight up. Oh, that's a huge wave of balloons. Let's use the glue strike ability, and that's gonna be the last call. So we are dealing with all these balloons. Let's go like this, by the way, and first, because I see a lot of small balloons. This is a mess on screen, but we do seem to be dealing with the boss. There's like a little bit of HP left on the boss, but I'm gonna keep the Megalodon on first so that we deal with the small balloons and we don't lose to them. And I'm gonna switch him to strong, just finish off the boss. And yeah, there we go. We popped tier 2, which was a lot easier than tier 1, but it took us 5 rounds, it seems like. And yeah, one of the things that I personally noticed is that this is definitely not the Megalodon that we used to know. You can actually see how little damage he's doing nowadays. But with all these buffs, I mean, I feel like it's still gonna be like an OP tower versus boss. It's just that it's not gonna be broken, because I remember seeing this post on Reddit a while back. I might have actually told you guys that some guy actually beat like Elite Bloonarius on Chimps mode by using the Megalodon, even though I have to say there was apparently some damage bug going around on the Megalodon. But come on, like this guy is just absolutely insane by himself, right? Yeah, one of the things that maybe we should have done a little bit differently is try and farm a little bit more during the tier 1. Maybe we should have sold all these farms just so we got a stronger degree in the Orca. But for the tier 3, I bought a lot of new things, as you guys can see, and I'm still gonna keep buying things. So for example, I want to buy the Ultra Boost engine, which is gonna be, I guess, one of the most important things. I also bought the Bounty Hunter, by the way. We got the Desperado, which is gonna give us a lot of extra range so we can start attacking a lot earlier. So let's actually hook this guy up. Let's use the ability, and by the way, take a look at the range of the shark now. I mean, look at how big it is. And how is it looking versus this tier 3 now that I think about it? So then we use the glue strike. I mean, it's kind of slow for sure. Let's use the Desperado ability again. Let's overclock. We're missing some stuff for sure. Yeah, let's actually do a call to arms village. So here's what we can do. I should probably be using the Desperado ability, by the way, in this thing as much as possible. And we should probably get 2 bounty hunters and have them use the abilities with tech bots so that it has 100% uptime, because one Desperado ability does not have 100% uptime. So let's buy the Ultra Boost, get those tags going. The damage is definitely, yeah, you guys can notice how this damage is not what it used to be, right? Let's go like this. Let's use the call to arms ability, just get a little bit of extra damage going. Oh my god, this thing is nerfed, isn't it? Yep, you can definitely see it. Yep, definitely a little bit slower this time around. And let's use the Azili Sacrificial Totem again, which by the way does work, which is very funny. Alright, so Desperado ability, let's use it. We're gonna have our skull. So each time we proc a skull, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set this guy back to first. We're gonna give him camo through a Desperado ability so he deals with the DDT summons. And then once all these summons have been dealt with, I think, wait, actually the bat is gonna release. Oh no, he's one-shotting the bat, never mind. Alright, so let's go like this, go back on strong. We have another Desperado ability, so make sure we use it along the call to arms. Definitely a lot slower than what it used to be. Alright, so this is gonna be the last call. We're about 400k. I mean, maybe we could buy some boats if if we want to generate some extra income, let's deal with the boss actually, because we're not in a hurry. Let's move the Beast Hammer to first for one last time. Let's use a Desperado ability, give it some camo detection for these DDTs. Actually, the Azili Totem gives it camo detection, but it's currently on cooldown. Let's go back on strong so we deal with the boss, and that is gonna be it for the tier 3. So very late pops. I guess the tier 2 was kind of fine. We popped it in 5 rounds, but the tier 3 we're popping it in 10 rounds since it's paused. That's not ideal. Okay, so let's rethink our situation for a second. We need to buy the Sun Temple and then the True Sun God eventually for the extra buffs. That's gonna be extra damage, attack speed, pierce, everything. So let's go like this. Buy a this is gonna be just like a support temple and a support True Sun God, because we don't want this thing doing damage. We only want it for the buffs. And then I also bought a couple of boats here on the sides just to generate a little bit of extra income. I think that's gonna be nice. Let's also hook up these Desperado abilities so that we don't exactly have to micro them a lot. So I'm gonna set 2 tech bots, and then as soon as the first Desperado ability runs out on this guy, I'm gonna use the second one and I'm gonna hook the second tech bot. So go like this, bam, there it is. That should be 100% uptime on this Bounty Hunter Desperado ability. And before the next tier of boss arrives, let's actually do this. Let's buy the True Sun God, which is again just gonna be a support one, so I'm only gonna sacrifice this mid-path village. Go like this, and then he is not getting the Beast Hunter in range. So let's go like this. Oh my god, it's still not in range. Okay, so let's give him something like a village, I guess, on the side. This is not gonna be too bad because we're gonna need like the Homeland village as well. There it is. Okay, so we finally get both of these buffs going with the Sun Temple and the True Sun God. I mean, we're making some huge progress, guys. Take a look at the buffs that we currently have. So Sun Temple and True Sun God, Desperado, Jungle Jumps. We have 10 Ultra Boost tags. We have 84 out of 132 Beast Powers, so we can make progress there. And then we also have Azili's Totems plus some Homeland and Call to Arms abilities, and we can also buy Damage Amplification Towers. So finally, how is this guy gonna do now? He's got a lot of buffs, by the way. Okay, so let's see how we do versus the tier 4. Let's start using up all these abilities. So I'm gonna use the Sacrificial Totem, and let's use the Homeland. Let's just go all out at least with the power that we currently have. And then for the tier 5, the tier 5 is gonna be like at max power, so we're gonna just basically dump everything possible. The True Sun God, even though it's attacking, by the way, it's not doing a lot of damage. It's like a support one. And I have the Beast Handler set on strong, so he is the one that's dealing with the boss. So let's go like this. Use the Call to Arms now, and how is it looking, guys? How is this nerfed Beast Handler doing? I'm just gonna speed things up a little bit, but while using the Homeland ability, I'm trying to juggle the Homeland and the Call to Arms, so as soon as the first thing ends, I'm gonna use the second one. We're about halfway there, so this guy is looking like he is gonna do it, actually. And look, I mean, this is definitely a little bit slower than it used to be, but I don't think, like, from what I'm seeing, I don't think that this guy's gonna be, like, terrible versus bosses. I think you can still use him up to, like, tier 3 pretty reliably. Tier 4 is a little bit of a stretch for sure, and also depending on the boss modifiers, right? Because keep in mind, we're playing in Elite Bloons without any modifiers on a pretty long map, so I guess he's gonna be helpful in the tier 4 and the tier 5, but up to tier 3, I think you can still pretty comfortably use him with just like a few buffs. But he is actually gonna defeat the tier 4 as well, which is a great sign. By the way, we did 8 million damage. We did 8 million damage in 12 rounds though, so that's a little bit concerning because Elite Bloons tier 5 has 40 million HP. Alright, so let's make sure we make this guy as strong as possible. So I bought 3 Orcas here up top, so now we're sitting at 132 out of 132. This guy is at max beast power. His attack speed has actually gotten buffed by a lot by these 3 Orcas only. And in terms of buffing him, I really honestly hope we're not missing anything. I mean, maybe we could drop something like this, like a Mermonkey, like a top hat Mermonkey, the Lord of the Abyss, which is basically just gonna give it a little bit of extra pierce. Not like it's gonna need it, but I guess once he's gonna latch onto the boss, he's gonna be, I guess, dealing with a lot more of these moblins. I also buy the Cripple Moab, and I think we are kind of fine at this point. I mean, listen, the Embrittlement stacked with the Super Brillo, so I'm just gonna buy like a couple of +1 Embrittlement Ice Towers around the map, so that we know that if this guy fails, he just straight up just doesn't have enough damage, and that's gonna be about it. So, can he do it? Tier 5 boss, going out on the field, let's go. 40 million HP on Elite Bloons. Is he set on strong? He is. Alright, so let's start dumping these abilities. So start with the Homeland, get the Glue Storm going. So this is pretty much as strong as you can make it, unless I'm missing something, which I hope I'm not. I mean, we're getting it the range, the Ultra Boost, the Beast Power. I think this is pretty much about it, right? One thing that's for sure is that you can notice a huge difference in damage now that we bought all of these other things. Let's actually, by the way, sell the Super Bill and rebuy it somewhere here on the side, maybe like this. And actually, look at this thing. We did about 8 million damage so far. And if you guys remember, the tier 4 boss had 8 million HP in total, and we popped it like up here up top where the True Sun God is. So basically, all these buffs that we're giving in the damage amplifiers, they are working. All these extra orcas, the extra beast power, they are working overtime, it seems like. We're gonna have one more sacrificial totem, by the way, so let's make sure we use it. It's only taking 1 life, but I don't think the buff improves, actually, when she reaches level 16 and when you get the upgraded one. How is it looking, guys? It's round 124, and if there's one thing that concerns me, it's not the damage and it's not the map length, but it is the rounds. So here's what we can do. We can actually extend the rounds by a tiny bit. I'm gonna buy a main Moab sniper, and I'm gonna set this thing last so that we're stunning a small chunk of these balloons that are coming out, so we extend the rounds by a little bit and buy ourselves a little bit more time. Like, I know that this round extension is not gonna last by too long, but listen, I'm just trying to if we get like an extra 2 minutes of total playtime, I think that's gonna be of a huge help for this Megalodon. Alright, so one more skull going. This is gonna be the 3rd skull which is left. After we pop this one, we have 2 skulls left, doing a lot of damage for sure. I mean, this guy is just nuts, it seems like. They nerfed it for sure, but you know, he's still doing a lot of damage, guys. I mean, come on. Like, this is just absolutely ridiculous for a tier 5 tower to be doing what this Megalodon is currently doing, right? This is not normal by any stretch of the imagination. Let's sell the super build, by the way. Let's rebuy it here. Now, on the side, use the call to arms while the homeland is on cooldown. Make sure we use the sacrificial totem and the ghost strike. Is he actually gonna do it, guys? I'm keeping these abilities going. 8.5 million HP left. I think he's actually gonna do it. I think he's gonna do it, and he's gonna have a lot of time spare while he's beating the boss, actually. Alright, 1 skull left. There we go. We're gonna get the pop on the skull, by the way. Use the call to arms ability. This is close, but you guys know what? Oh my god, they nerfed him, but it's not enough, guys. It's still not enough. You can see why he didn't drop that much in the rankings, by the way. He was like S- and dropped to A-. I mean, that basically means, yeah, he got nerfed, but he's still very, very strong. And you can see why that's the case, because he actually did pop Elite Lunarius by himself. That is nuts what this guy can do. Okay, so let's finish out the boss. Let's check how much pops this beast handler had. So we had him strong the entire time, and basically he is the one that dealt with Lunarius by himself. Yeah, that is 65 million pops. So 40 million onto this Elite Lunarius, 8 million onto the previous one. The other ones are like just small residual pops, so I'm not gonna count them. And then obviously, you know, whatever came out of these rounds. So yeah, they nerfed the Megalodon, but guys, it was not enough. This guy still slaps. And that's it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.